This is how to use a Literacy with Dignity packet. These first few pages are for your reference. You don't need to print any of them out until you see the white pages. Even this one, you might want to have it printed out the first couple of times, but you'll get the hang of it. Um, it Everything on this page I'm about to go over, so you can always come back to this if you forget what I'm talking about in this video. Every lesson we'll start with listening practice. These packets are designed to be split between 2 lessons per week. Each one will last anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour, depending on your stamina and the student's stamina. But it should start with listening practice. So you will see this page, the student will not. What you will do is get 5 manipulatives. So I've been using stones. And you'll say to your student, each manipulative represents a sound. Okay, so if each stone represents a sound, please show me ought. The student may go, ought. Okay, and so your job is to train the student to hear that ought is 2 sounds. Ah. This is not necessarily a natural skill, so in many people it needs to be explicitly taught. So you'll say, okay, if that says ought, show me pot. And they'll take another manipulative and put it at the beginning, right? Because they have to hold in their head this is ought. To make pot, I put a new sound at the beginning. Okay? And then if you say, well, if this says pot, show me pad. Sorry, nope. If this says pot, show me pat. They'll need to hear that the middle sound changed and they'll put a new one in there. Okay? That is listening practice. It should go pretty quickly. You will also, each lesson, right after the listening practice, you'll go to sound review and you will point to letters and have the students say the sounds. You can also say the sounds and have the students point to the letters. Most students who um, find these packets appropriate will know all their consonant sounds with a few exceptions. The vowels will really be the sticking point. In closed syllables, students need to automatically be able to look at an E and say eh very, very quickly and know that that's the short sound. Later, we're going to focus on long sounds, which is when the vowel says its name. Um, so this is a main focus. A lot of students are going to mix up E and I. Sorry, eh and I. A lot of students mix up ah and So you'll see the units are structured so that similar words with the same vowel sounds or similar vowel sounds are next to each other to help them learn to differentiate between those 2 sounds. All right. After the sound review, there will be some kind of practice. These concepts you may find that your student knows and doesn't need any additional help on. I find that a lot of students with these issues, mix up their P, B, and D. This particular activity teaches students a way to feel the sound in their mouth and associate that with the sound with the shape of the letter as they are writing it, and comes up with some suggestions for how to work on this every day independently. Okay, ways to train their brain to start really associating the shape of that word, the feel of that word in their mouth to the shape of the word in their hand. It should be done very slowly and very mindfully. However, if your student doesn't need practice with this, skip it. Please throw it out. Don't waste their time. They'll get frustrated. Um, and yeah, you just don't need to do it. So here is the meat of the unit. So this is the stuff to um, be split up between the 2 days. You can split it up however you'd like. So pages 11 to, let's see, 18. Okay, so that's 7, not an even number. So you can decide. You may want to review the words twice, the first lesson and the second lesson. And you're going to have them read all of these words to you and review the definitions at least once. Okay? Once you get to these activities, as the students completing the activities, you should be listening to them. They should be reading these words aloud to you. This is not independent work. The purpose of this is so that you can hear the errors they are making, and on your paper, down at the bottom, this will be printed out. This is your teacher page. You're going to record all of their errors for later. So you're going to need to practice their errors more. Or if they have everything, if they're doing everything correctly, you may find that you need to skip some units. Um, so a lot of these are pretty self-explanatory. Again, you can hear if a student says the cop is in the dog dop, you'll know that they really need that B, P, and D practice, even if they assured you that they have it down. Or if it may be a one-time thing, they had a lot of anxiety when they started reading it with you, and then they don't need it repeated. But you'll use your discretion to figure that out. All right. So these you'll have them do. A quick note about these activities: whenever you see these lines represent sounds, not letters. So in this first unit, all of the words are three sounds, three letters. But starting in the next unit, you'll see words like jazz, right? Where the word jazz has four letters but three sounds. So they'll have to write Jazz. It's to get them really thinking about the association between sounds and letters. And they may be mad at you. They see that there are three blanks and four letters. So you'll have to explain that to them. Okay. Same here. Circle the correct sounds. Try not to look back. You want to make sure they're not flipping back, that they're trying to do this from memory so that they're really learning the vocabulary, making those good associations. If you find that students are struggling to recall the words, it's okay to dictate the words to them. So for this one, you say tag, cob, pad, bog, pop, bop. Okay. And they're listening for that middle sound. And then there's consonant practice as well. You'll notice that a lot of the consonant practice is really heavy on the B, P, and D sounds. All right, and the final section is some nonsense reading and then some spelling, nonsense spelling. Okay, so you'll have them read each sound, and if they get it wrong, just cue it and record the error. You'll notice that in this unit, it's all ah and ah. Those are pretty different vowels, so there shouldn't be too much confusion. If there is, you may need to, on a separate day, you may need to do flashcards, ah and ah. And then they'll spell and underline each sound. Early words, you don't have to worry too much about them underlining each sound, but later that will become more important. Um, you will read these to them and have them spell the words. Every once in a while, there'll be a logical spelling that I miss that, and you can really say, oh, okay, that spelling makes sense to me. But for the most part, if there's an alternative spelling, I'll include it here. Okay, so now you've gotten to the end of your lesson. Say that took 40 minutes, we're crying, you know, uh, that's the end of your lesson. But if you have more time, and hopefully you do, and more energy, here's what I recommend. Um, Flashcards are great. Any sounds that they really struggle with, and dictation, you can just kind of make that up as you go along. Have them flip one of these papers over and say, I'm just going to say a sound, and you write the letter B, D, D, P, B, right? If that's what they need practice on. You can also come up with some sentences and dictate them to them if that's something that you think they could benefit from. Or the thing I think that is most valuable is choosing a text that the reader is motivated to read, even if it's really difficult, and having them read aloud to you just for whatever time you have left, or whatever stamina they have left. And please take that opportunity to if you stumble upon a word that they don't know, or maybe they do know it and you want to have them stop and take a minute to really talk about the closed syllables in that word. You go back and review those concepts that they learned in this particular unit. All right. And then if you want to have them practice throughout the week, these are, again, 2 lessons per week. But, you know, throughout the week, they can be doing a quick flashcard review. They can be, practicing those V's, P's, and D's on their legs or in the mirror. You can feel free to add as much as you want. The more, the better. These are really just designed to be a framework to help you see what the student is struggling with and help you design more instruction for them as needed. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, or you can schedule a consultation, 30 minutes, and we can just chat about any questions you have. And yeah, that's all, and hope to hear from you.